In the country of Canada, there is a company so old that when it was founded, the country of Canada itself did not yet exist. At that time, there was no news of the Parliament, the Canadian dollar, or even the name Canada. However, during this time, there was a company that gradually gained such power that it was able to change the fate of this land. But now, after more than 350 years, it is closing its stores one after another. What happened that led this company to this point? What is the story of the rise and fall of this company? How can a company be older than a country? And most importantly, what does this event mean for the future of Canada? But before we get to today's topic, I wanted to ask you to like the video right now. It might not take much of your time, but it gives us a lot of energy to create engaging content for you. Alright, let's start our discussion with a question. If you want to categorize a business as an old trade, how many years should it have been in operation? 50 years, 100 years or more? Well, it has been operating continuously since 1670. There was no Canada, not even America, just a pristine land with native tribes and hunters. But in this very land, a few traders and adventurers start a company that becomes so important that even other countries pay it tribute. The name of this company is Hudson's Bay Company, or HBC for short, which still exists today after more than 350 years, although it is no longer the giant it once was. The idea of establishing this company was first proposed by two Frenchmen named Pierre Esprit Radisson and Médard de Groseilliers. They were two adventurers who had discovered that there was a great natural treasure in this region, which was none other than beaver pelts. Strange. Is beaver pelt considered a treasure? Well, I must say that at that time in Europe, beaver fur was more valuable than gold because the nobility loved luxurious clothing. But there was a problem. The French did not want to allocate any capital to this idea. So these two went to the English and said, look, there is an incredible trade route in North America. If you give us ships, we can start a big trade. The English, always on the lookout for opportunities, quickly embraced this proposal. The result was that King Charles II issued a formal decree allowing this newly established company to control all the lands around Hudson Bay. Yes, this was not only a trading company, but also became the owner of lands that today form large parts of Canada. But here an important question arises. How did a private company manage to take control of a territory? Well, HBC was not just an ordinary company. This company had its own army, special trading boats, and even collected taxes itself. Imagine a chain store collecting taxes and setting its own laws. It's mind-blowing, isn't it? But that's exactly what this company did. Over the centuries, this company went beyond trading furs and pelts and became an economic and even political power in North America. Interestingly, some of the territories under its control later became the country of Canada. This means that Canada practically emerged from within a company. However, the Hudson's Bay Company quickly realized that for success, it needed to align with the region's indigenous people. In the 17th century, the company's employees often mastered the culture and language of the indigenous people. Even though marrying indigenous people was prohibited for a time, but many of the HBC employees ignored this law. Collaboration with the indigenous people gave HBC a significant advantage over its competitors, as they knew the region better than anyone and were skilled in hunting fur-bearing animals. But like any other king, he gradually faced challenges and his decline began. With the entry of other companies like the Denver West Company, competition became tough for Hudson's Bay. After a while, beaver pelts no longer held their previous value. because with the growth of cities and industrial development, people no longer needed beaver fur clothing. It was at this point that Hudson's Bay gradually changed course and transformed from a trading company into a retail empire. Now you might ask, despite the company having changed its course, why is it disappearing again today? In simpler terms, what has happened that this company, which lasted for centuries, is now closing its stores one by one? Well, there are a few reasons for this. The first reason is that competition from online retailers like Amazon has led people to prefer shopping online rather than going to large stores. On the other hand, poor management and misguided investments, especially in recent years, have caused HBC to change its strategy several times. However, these changes did not yield very interesting results. Additionally, the economic crisis and the decrease in people's purchasing power have also impacted the fall of Hudson's Bay. Because when the economic situation worsens, people are less likely to visit luxury stores. Therefore, all these factors together have led this legendary brand, which once built the entire country of Canada, to now be on the brink of collapse. If you want my opinion on this matter, I must say that it's really sad to see a company that is as old as Canada itself declining in this way. But perhaps this is a lesson that nothing lasts forever and is not truly permanent, even if it has lasted for 350 years. Therefore, it doesn't matter how big or strong you are. If you don't adapt to changes, you are doomed to perish. Now you tell me, do you think this company can be saved? By what means and with what strategy? But just a few weeks ago, in March 2025, this company declared bankruptcy and began the process of its complete dissolution. As of April 6th, this company has also stopped accepting gift cards and has cancelled customer loyalty programs. Throughout history, Hudson's Bay has been referred to as a company that has somehow become a nation, because this company is even older than the country of Canada itself, and has managed to survive the ups and downs of retail, world wars, the Great Depression, and many other crises. But everything changed with the shift in people's shopping habits during the COVID-19 pandemic. The company was never able to fully recover from the policies of the COVID-19 era and did not take effective measures to align with the trend of online shopping that had become prevalent during that time. Therefore, the story of Hudson's Bay is a great example of how history and commerce intertwine. This company once laid the foundations of Canada, but now it is itself on the verge of collapse. In this way, perhaps if we look at history, we can learn from these mistakes and build a better future.